Welcome to another Business Spotlight, where we share insights, reflections, and pearls of wisdom from local business owners. My name is Kerry James. I'm a business coach and a facilitator. But today, on today's Business Spotlight, I'm delighted to welcome Victoria Bond, CEO of Tenspace. Good afternoon and welcome to Business Spotlight, Victoria.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. So please, let's start with Tenspace. How long have you been in business, please, and what do you specialize in?
Yeah, so we have been in business coming up to 3 years now. Our specialism is employee feedback surveys. I myself have a background in HR. I consider myself to be an employee engagement expert and specialist. But a lot of the work that we do, we've built a platform that captures anonymous employee feedback. So we work with organisations and consultants, coaches, to help them to understand what's going on in a team of people, understand from an engagement perspective what feedback's on their mind, and then we work with them to kind of do transformation, making sure that they've got the data and the insight that they need in order to do that.
Okay, great. And so thinking about where we are now in the middle of 2023, clearly since lockdown, there's been a big move towards hybrid working, which I guess has somewhat of an impact on your business. But what about the other environmental trends, whether that's interest rates or inflation or the digital revolution? How have those all impacted on your industry and your business in particular, would you say, Victoria?
Yeah, so I think employee engagement, so the kind of the concept of employees bringing their best selves to work, doing their best work when they get there. I think there's a growing recognition across all industries that this is absolutely critical for the success of organisations with teams. I think that exactly what you've said, things like hybrid working, cost of living increase, in terms of quite often why clients will come to us is because they have employee retention challenges. And what we do is get them the feedback and help them to understand where their risk areas are, what's going on in that organisation, and why they're seeing employee turnover issues. And that's become more acute. You don't have to look hard for kind of evidence where employees are jumping for higher salaries, or we know, for example, that Gen Z are very values driven, so they're looking for something very different from an organisation. And so the work that we do is really helping organisations to understand all of those factors that are impacting on employees and navigate their way through it.
And so where does that take you in terms of typical or ideal clients? You mentioned businesses with employee engagement challenges. What about, does that link to any trends or links to business size or structure or locations or industry sector?
Yeah, so there's a couple of things in there. So it's not always challenges. We work with people who are just really looking to kind of maximise and go after that kind of best practice as well. Because of the way that we survey employees, we can survey via email, WhatsApp or SMS. So that WhatsApp and SMS kind of opens up a whole pot of accessibility for people who are what we call deskless workers. So, we work with councils and we're surveying bin men, for example, leisure centre staff. We work with logistics company, people who are driving vehicles around the country who actually, they want to be included in that feedback, but going in and sitting down at a computer or accessing an email address or a link by that way isn't as accessible to them. So we've got that technology. So we find that we've got kind of those types of organisations, logistics, manufacturing, for example, that are a big cohort of our clients. The other side is kind of professional services, where the pain that people experience when they're losing talent is really quite acute, or they've got a real interest in attracting the very best talent, and so they absolutely need to make sure that their employee engagement is kind of world class. So we tend to work with clients from, our smallest client is 10 employees, and we do a regular quarterly engagement survey with them, and we get insight for them every single survey. Our largest clients are kind of multiples of thousands of employees, and we get, with those clients, we can get into some real kind of detail. We can get really geeky with the data to understand, team by team and demographics and some of the other trends that they're seeing in the organization that are kind of hidden in a lump of feedback, if you like.
I'm imagining this is a growing, pretty competitive space. I've heard and I've come across and I've used one or two app-based similar tools, if you like, or tools that deliver some of the data you're talking about, the employee engagement. So who would you consider to be your key competitors?